Hello, investors. This is Ted Zhang, portfolio manager at Revere Asset Management. Today is Friday, July 25th, 4:52 p.m. coming to you from Vienna, Virginia, with tonight's Revere Roundup Daily Market Insight video. State of the market, we are still in uptrend. We're just in the steady grind higher. Looking at the GROTECTION gauge, market leaders with a green up arrow, short-term, medium-term, and long-term trend are marked with green up arrows as well. We still have the stop sign for the 50-day because we are slightly extended from the 50-day, but we just continue to grind higher. What happened today? Market grind up continues in S&P and Nasdaq hit new all-time highs once again. 21 over 21 list up 0.56%, 12 up, 3 neutral, 6 down, turbo 12 down 0.52%, 6 up, 6 down, ASTS minus 9.52% on offering, TSSI up 7.4%, Big 8 up 0.48%, RG8 up 0.91%, S&P 500 up 0.40%, RSP up 0.48%, QQQ up 0.24%, QQEW up 0.35%, Dow Jones up 0.47%, Midcaps up 0.91%, Russell up 0.40%, Global 60/40 equity bonds up 0.21%, GROTECTION up 0.32%, and Turbo down 0.75%. That's mainly on the ASTS gap down of about 10% on the offering, and then our largest position, Bitcoin, was down today. But I do have some good news for Bitcoin for you guys later. So getting right into it, starting as always with the chart of the S&P 500, really just a melt up here, trending along the 8 EMA and 21 EMA. There's really nothing much to say. People feel like it's extended and they feel like there's going to be a pullback. But as people feel that, they start hedging, they start taking positions off, start getting bearish, and that just leads to a trend higher. Will only top when buyers are non-existent, when all the buyers have bought. And I speculate that this will happen once we start seeing acceleration in the indexes, which could mark FOMO buyers as well as shorts getting squeezed out. We'll see what happens historically after election year. August is the second worst year, and you see many red Augusts in the years after election years. We're heading into August after next week. Continue to ride the wave. There's really nothing much to say about the S&P here. So with RSP, this is really just looking to break out to all-time highs. Huge weekly base, really clear level, looks great. Nasdaq broke out of this cup with handle and just a straight trend higher above the 21 EMA. Really just extraordinary action out of the cup with handle. QQEW also in all-time highs, just trending higher as well above the 21 EMA. Dow Jones looking to get above this base high. You see some VCP characteristics, really nice handle formed here, plus a shakeout. Oftentimes you see the move up, shakeout, tighten, and that really marks when something is ready to get going. Huge base once again on the Dow Jones Industrial Average. Next, midcaps, weaker than the Dow, S&P, and Nasdaq, but it itself is also looking to potentially break out of this huge base. Russell, similar thing as well. V-shaped recovery, now back above all the key moving averages. We'll see where this one goes as well. VIX, new lows. We closed at 14.93. We broke the 15 handle. The volatility continues to die down. We're really just in the low volatility melt up right now in the indexes. And we're just going to continue riding the wave until something changes, until it bends the trend. Dollar broke this bear flag, just meandering around. Gold pulled back after rejecting this 318 area. It might just need more time to form out the rest of the space and handle and see some accumulation bars, but then volume in the sell-off, 3-day sell-off has been quite low. Gold miners actually holding up much better relatively to gold. Broke this, retested the downtrend line, and looking to confirm the rest of this uptrend above that level. Silver just has been extraordinarily strong, although lagging S&P 500, but we broke out of this handle and has been trending nicely above the 21 EMA. On to Bitcoin. Over last night, we had a big move down in Bitcoin, but over the course of the day, we saw that get bought up. First, we undercut and reclaimed the July 15th low. Then we undercut and reclaimed the July 22nd low. And this is on massive volume. We also undercut and reclaimed the 20-day moving average as well. So it turned initially what looked like a breakdown is starting to become a subtle form of accumulation as we are greater than 50% of the daily closing range. If we can close above in this area, that'll be a really bullish sign. And as they all say, from failed breakouts can come fast moves to the downside, and from failed breakdowns can come fast moves to the upside. So we will see what Bitcoin does over the weekend. Continuing on, I'll highlight some ETH since we own that too. Really just high tight flag forming after this major move from this bottoming sheet pivot. You see at a failed breakout, that's a huge move to downside, and a failed breakdown, that's a huge move to the upside. Just shaking everyone out from the buyers and the sellers. And just want to highlight something. There's the power of three setup, 10, 20, and 50 or so converge on each other. And the moving averages are stacked. And that's why it looks so good. The power of three led to the moving average expansion and gives stock room to go. Solana rejected this 210 area, pulling back to the top of the base, putting in a hammer candle. Volume's coming in. That looks constructive too. Potentially looking to reclaim the 10. We own this in Turbo as well. So going on, let's talk about bonds real quick. There's nothing too much to highlight in bonds. Really didn't do much today. So with that being said, that wraps up the inter-asset correlation section of the video. Let's head to the tail of the tape. We're still operating under the bull case, initiate and rally, trend above the 21 EMA. Big economic data next week. Tuesday, we have consumer confidence and JOLTS. Wednesday, with FOMC and GDP. Thursday, we have PCE, and Friday, we have labor market data, non-farm payrolls, unemployment rate. So it's a huge week. Next week, we also have Meta, Microsoft earnings, as well as a whole swath of other ones. Also, Trump will communicate with China next week about trade talks as well. So a lot happening next week, a lot of catalysts heading into the month of August. Today's keys, we're watching S&P versus the 8 EMA and all-time highs. We made a new all-time high. Qs versus the 8E and all-time highs. We made a new all-time high. And the Russell versus the 8E, which we held, still didn't break 2283 yet. Day count, we had a breakout +6, up 1 to breakout +7, up 2. 24 days above the 8 EMA, which is unheard of, and 64 days above the 21 EMA, which is a record. Short-term short-term expectations are positive. The action today, like I said, pretty much gapped up and trended up all day. Strong sectors, bonds were up, yields down, dollars up, builders, industrials, discretionary. RK, gold, and 50 were up as well. Communications and energy were down. Bitcoin was down, but rallied. Saw shakeout, which is constructive. Uranium was down, silver and gold were down as well. Grow holdings, all we did today in Grow. Two things we did today in Grow is add to SCX and we sold iron. So let's look at those charts real quick. We added to FCX, copper miner right off the 21 EMA. Bet this must have had Don's famous Stowe cross. Yep, Stowe 60 cross. So we had his criteria right there, stochastic cross off the 21 EMA. And then we sold iron, which saw this huge failed breakout, another reversal yesterday, and then a fall through to the downside today. So going back here, RVAB 1.41, 6.29% open heat. In Turbo, all we did was sell ASTS, and look at that. Really just breaking down back into the base on huge volume on the offering, taking the 18% gain and banking that. 2.05 beta, 4.75% open heat. Bottom line is the market grind up continues. S&P has all-time highs. S&P and Nasdaq see all-time highs again. Monday keys, we're going to watch the S&P versus the AE, Qs versus the AE, and Russell versus the AE, and the 2283 level. That's it. That wraps up the tail of the tape. and I wanted to now get into the 21 over 21 list and the Turbo 12. Actually, I just want to quickly do a commentary. I've begun watching some of the All In and Hill podcasts regarding the White House AI action plan. Speakers such as Jensen Huang, Lisa Su, Chris Wright, Doug Burnham, JD Vance, Scott Besson, Howard Lutnick, President Trump, and other speakers joined together and talked about America's AI plan. And my big takeaway from that was we need massive energy expansion, and that is the foundation and bedrock of this AI build out. Without energy, nothing will work. We won't have energy to power data centers. We won't have energy to power AI. We won't have energy to power anything. So energy is critical. And from that, they kept emphasizing that natural gas is the cheapest, most reliable, efficient form right now, that we have to step it up. Over time, of course, they're planning on building out nuclear reactors, solar as well. But right now, it's really a rush for energy. China's looking to expand from 3 terawatts to 8 terawatts by 2040, and we're only planning on 1 to 2. So they're rapidly expanding, and whoever wins the energy race likely wins the AI race, and that really determines who dominates the world. So next week on the podcast, I'll be doing an episode on LEU, which we've owned since $137 in Turbo. This company supplies a high assay, low enriched uranium for commercial power plants. Essentially, it's the fuel for nuclear reactors, and as well as other stocks in this group. But this is really the only pure play stock that actually produces HALEU, which is what that long phrase is called. And it actually commercially produces it right now, unlike other companies that are still in development. So I'll be doing a podcast episode on nuclear energy, how important it is, the fuels, and publicly traded companies to take advantage of that theme next week. So heading into the 21 over 21 list, let's cover the top moving stocks and losers. Let's go over the losers first because there's only 4. First one is Iron. Of course, we stopped out of that. Failed breakout. Never a good sign. BST, so far failed breakout as well. Going back into the base, but not on high volume, so that's still fine. Bitcoin was down, but it actually closed highs of the day off the 21 EMA. Huge volume coming in, so I see that support. We go on a 60-minute, you can see that UNR here. So that is constructive action. Heading up, SoFi, down day, but still well above the 21 EMA. It might just need to flag out here. Coinbase was also down, but really just pulling back to the top of the space on contracting volume. Earnings in 6 days, we contended with the previous all-time highs and rejected so far, so we'll see what happens there. And then Circo had a down day, another close below the 21 EMA, but on extremely low volume. On the upside, Power, you can see it provides specialty contract and related services to electric power, gas, and oil pipeline industries. Another energy play. And of course, this chart has been quite vertical in the build out of AI. We need it. The country needs it. GEV, actually also related to HALEU production, at least part of their company. Not production, but they actually, what's the word I'm trying to find here? They, after HALEU is created and used, they kind of decompose it, if you will. But they also are a big player in natural gas turbines and really just the production of electricity. And that's so critical right now in today's era. $176 billion market cap now. Really just extraordinary company. And you can see we were even touching it in this base right here, buying out of this IPO base. Made a huge move, crashed, but now is ended up making another big move out of the tariff war crash. Really nice company we're seeing here. GEV. It's a great trend. That's why we really care about catalysts, macro themes, and just clean and linear charts. This is what you get when you hold a name like this. Hood, another TML that both grow and Turbo hold. Just such a linearly trending name. So much fundamentals going for it. Triple digit earnings in the last 6 quarters. It's gone from 13 to 100, so nearly a 10x at this point. It's definitely later in the move now, but it really just broke out into all-time highs. So we'll see what happens. Let's see if we can continue the base, continue to put up big numbers. We do have earnings in 5 days as well, but this company is just expanding their product offerings drastically into betting markets, credit cards, IRAs, and more. DoorDash was up into new all-time highs. Great action, breaking out this flag. Palantir made a new all-time high too. Had that mini shelf. DraftKings looking to poke its head out of 45. Kind of sloppy action in the space though. GDX, talked about that already. Reddit made a move higher, pulled back, playing support the 150 and 21 EMA, and looking to poke its head out again above $150. Pulled the 21 and 50, but moving averages aren't still very aligned. And MP tries poking its head out as well, but squat so far, we own this GROTECTION. So with that being said, that's the review of the 21 over 21 Turbo 12, and really just we're just riding the wave here and moving up our stops every single day and locking in those profits. And that's why we have that open heat. So we know how much risk we have to the downside if everything were to get stopped. That being said, I'm going to wrap it up for today's video, last one of the week. Today's Friday, July 25th. If you have any questions, you can email me at ted@revereasset.com. Twitter's X is Ted H. Zhang. Phone is 855 Real Wealth. That is 855-732-5932. Our website's Revere Asset, and our YouTube, X, Instagram, and TikToks at Revere Asset. Please like, share, and subscribe. And with that being said, have a great rest of your week and have a good weekend.